The film depicts an oil rig located in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. This oil rig, named El Diamante, is owned by an American company called Nissan Oil. At that time, there were two men working on the oil rig. For some reason, these two men appeared to be bombing the rig. They were seen placing bombs underwater. Nacho was tasked with setting the bomb underwater, while Pablo stayed above to keep watch. Not long after, Nacho finished placing the bomb and set it to detonate in 16 hours. However, as Nacho was about to surface, he suddenly experienced hallucinations. During these hallucinations, a Megalodon suddenly appeared and attacked him, killing Nacho in a tragic manner. Meanwhile, on the oil rig, Pablo felt intense tremors and was also killed by the sea creature. The next day, the head of security for Nissan Oil, named Paul, along with his family, arrived in Mexico. He brought his family there for a vacation, while also performing his duties to inspect the El Diamante oil rig. Initially, everything went very smoothly, but strange started to happen as they entered the town near the El Diamante oil rig. The town appeared very neglected, making them think it was a ghost town abandoned by its residents. There were only a few people living there, and many shops were closed. The next oddity occurred when they met a man named Elry. It became apparent that Elry did not like Paul's presence, because Paul works at the company Nixonoy. According to Ellery, it was Nixonoy that turned their city into this ghost town. Fortunately, Paul's wife Inez was able to open Ellery's heart with their presence. Inez, who is a native of Mexico, chatted casually with Ellery. She also didn't forget to give Ellery some money. As a result, Ellery was willing to help them in the city. Ellery then took Paul and his family to a restaurant. However, on the way, they stopped at a temple. There they saw a deity of the Esti tribe, who is highly respected by the people of Mexico. The deity's name is Tlaloc, and Tlaloc is the god of prosperity. Ellery offered a sacrifice to the god Tlaloc with the money Inez had given him. He also prayed to the god for continuous protection. After they arrived at the restaurant, Paul went to the oil refinery.
Okay, I understand. I got it. All right, to the Diamante. I'll do the inspection. While I'm out there,
Yeah, we're gonna be fine, but hurry.
Strangely, Chocho handed over his boat to Paul and told him to take the boat to the oil refinery alone. It turned out that Chocho was very frightened because there was a myth in this place about a large shark named Megalodon, which had already claimed many victims. The locals called the giant shark El Demonio, or the devil. Meanwhile, at the restaurant, Paul's wife and children were harassed by some thugs. Inez, who is indeed a brave wife, without hesitation, immediately smashed one of the thugs' heads. When the thugs were off guard, Inez and her children ran away. However, the thugs chased after them. Confused about where to escape to, Inez finally had the idea to rent a boat. She decided to follow her husband to the oil refinery. Meanwhile, on the other side, Paul had already arrived at the refinery. There, he saw a lot of oil mixed with seawater, indicating a leak. Seeing this, Paul was quite shocked. Moreover, he also found some equipment that was no longer in use. Paul quickly climbed up the refinery. However, he was startled by the appearance of two men who immediately pointed machetes at him. Paul explained to the two men that he was from the company. Hearing this, the two men immediately calmed down. The two men were Rama Jr. and Sato. They were sad to see Paul there because no one from the company had come there for a long time. Paul was also confused and curious about what was really happening at that place. Not long after that, Paul was surprised by the arrival of a boat. Inside the boat were his wife and children, who had followed him to the refinery. Paul, who was initially happy that his family had come, became very worried because of the arrival of a large shark under the sea. This prompted the boat's pilot to quickly accelerate, while Chato and Junior immediately started hitting the refinery's metal structures. Their goal was to attract, confuse, and distract the shark. Meanwhile, Paul and his family did not know what was under the boat his wife was on. They thought it was just a regular shark. Fortunately, Paul's wife and children were able to get onto the refinery. while the boat's pilot quickly fled from there.
Explain me later.
While they were still confused about what was happening, Paul's child named Utri suddenly fell into the sea. In the water, he saw many human body parts, realizing that some of them were just remains. Upon knowing that someone had fallen, the Megalodon immediately chased after him. However, fortunately, Utri managed to escape safely. To answer all the confusion, Sato handed a telescope to Inez. Using the telescope, she looked towards the boat that had brought them, and they witnessed a truly astonishing sight.
Jesus Christ.
They were instantly shocked and couldn't believe there was such a huge shark in the Mexican waters. The Megalodon, realizing there were many people on the oil rig, continued to ram its body against it. According to Nakio, the Megalodon had been doing this for quite some time. He speculated that the Megalodon might want to destroy the oil rig. According to Chato and Junior, they couldn't leave the place because the electricity was out and they couldn't call for help via radio. Additionally, the expanding oil leak made them even more confused about what to do. Hearing this, Paul came up with a plan. He would activate the power generator, which could only be started from beneath the rig. After that, he would fix the leak and then call for help to get them out of there. Before executing the plan, Chato told a story about the Megalodon they had seen. According to him, the sea god was angry with humans for being too greedy in everything. Additionally, the workers at the rig often broke the rules, especially those from outside Mexico. To punish those humans, the god then awakened the Megalodon that had been sleeping all this time. And it wasn't just any Megalodon. Besides being able to attack ferociously, it could also transfer its victims' longevity. That's what happened to Nacho and Audrey earlier. Hearing Sato's story, Paul didn't believe it at all and told Sato not to believe in such myths. Paul then said that the most important thing now is how to carry out the earlier plan. Finally, they decided to carry out the plan. Sato and Junior entered the sea using a special machine. They were going to activate the generator, while Paul monitored them using a camera from above. At first, everything went according to plan. They managed to get into the water without being detected by the Megalodon. However, when they were about to perform their task, Junior was startled by the presence of a bomb. As he approached the bomb, he suddenly began to hallucinate. Realizing that hallucinating would be very dangerous, he quickly rushed back to the machine. Unfortunately, the machine was immediately attacked by the Megalodon. The Megalodon bit the machine several times and then dragged it deep into the ocean. Junior, who was inside the machine, was now unreachable, and his condition was unknown. After that, Nacho managed to climb up to the platform, followed by the emergence of Junior. However, Junior's body was only half intact, which terrified everyone. They were also shocked by the discovery of a bomb under the platform earlier. Paul and Sato started blaming each other. Sato blamed the company, while Paul thought this was all they're doing. Inez quickly intervened and said that the most important thing now was to leave the platform. Paul had one more plan to activate the generator, which was to repair the drainage pipe. If Paul could reroute the drainage system, the generator would automatically function. While Paul and Chato were fixing the pipe, Inez found a file about the incident. It turned out the file was signed by her husband. After reading it, she discovered that Paul had known about the Megalodon all along. However, he kept it a secret from the workers because of company orders. While she was engrossed in reading, Inez was startled when her son Tommy suddenly fell into the ocean. From behind, the Megalodon immediately attacked Tommy. Fortunately, Tommy survived. After the incident, Salisteg immediately inquired about the file. Since he had already been caught, Paul then explained everything. He said that he was forced to do it. Paul, who is the head of the company's logistics, was responsible for the missing oil. In his initial report, he had already explained that there was a significant threat if they drilled for oil there. However, he later revised the report due to pressure from the company, as this report would be presented to investors, and the company was poised to make a significant profit. Paul also said that if he didn't do it, he would be fired. Feeling that this was his responsibility due to past mistakes, Paul then resolved to do whatever it took to make amends. After finishing the generator repairs, Paulo will dive into the sea. He will fix the oil leak, then remove the bomb that has been planted on the seabed, and finally place the bomb into the mouth of Mingyir, the Megalodon. His plan is that while he does all this, someone will be instructed to rescue his family using the rubber boat that Tommy happened to find. However, the rubber boat needs to be repaired first. In short, using a complete diving kit, Paul immediately headed to the ocean floor. He successfully disarmed the bomb and then welded the oil leak. Meanwhile, above, Chato, along with Paul's wife and children, had boarded the boat and were preparing to leave the rig. Initially, everything went smoothly. However, as Paul finished welding, the Megalodon suddenly appeared behind him. Paul quickly swam away and managed to escape, but the Megalodon remained nearby. Paul, knowing that he was still the main target of the Megalodon, then contacted his family. He said his goodbyes, filled with sadness and tears. Paul felt deeply guilty because all this happened due to his actions. He admitted that he was forced to do everything because he wanted to make his family happy and didn't want to be pressured at that time. With only 26 seconds left before the bomb exploded, Paul surrendered himself to the Megalodon. As Paul was devoured by the shark, the bomb was also swallowed. The explosion not only killed the Megalodon, but also caused the oil rig to collapse. Afterward, Coco, along with LR and his crew, arrived. They came because Chato had managed to send a distress signal before he fled the rig. Inez, along with her 2 children and Chato, were then rescued. The film ends there. If Paul had not made mistakes in the past by manipulating the data in his reports, perhaps this incident would never have happened. So, never force something if it will have negative consequences. Even if the impact isn't felt now, those negative consequences will surely come in the future. And that's the film The Black Diamond. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, guys. See you in the next video. Bye, everyone.